Good morning, everybody. This is Gary Lee Stanley, your sales guy. How are you doing today? Our topic for today is selling and keeping selling simple. What do you mean? What do you say? I said selling and keeping it simple. You're probably saying, what in the world has that got to do with selling, Gary? It's got everything to do with good selling, guys, because I'll tell you what, I can complicate the crap out of stuff. I don't know, sometimes people will give you a buying signal, or they'll say something to the effect that they are considering or wanting to own it, and sometimes we don't hear it because we don't keep it simple. Because see, when people are ready to purchase, they have buying signals. They rub their hands together, they rub their faces, they kind of look back and forth each other with that bright light inside of them, not that glazed look. You ever seen people, if you're a salesperson, who have that glazed look because they don't have a clue what you're talking about? So remember, keep it simple. Even when you're having a conversation with your customers, they don't know all the education and stuff sometimes that we have to go through, and we have these words that we use sometimes because it's stuff that we learn in maybe real estate, insurance, or whatever business. And when you have a conversation with customers, you say, well, we have this CBM, we have this CMA, we have this, the blah, 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 blah. And the customer's getting this glazed look. So remember, we got to keep it simple. They want to own stuff. They want to buy stuff. This world is already rough enough to where you got so much information. It's like, oh, crap. So remember, when you get an opportunity to talk to a customer, get excited, guys. And I don't mean crazy. I mean get excited because, see, it's hard to find a good customer. So if you got a good lead, somebody who's willing to listen to you, somebody who's got the mind to say, maybe I might want to consider listening to this person, well, you've got all the ammunition that you need. All you have to do is remember, keep it simple. Ask good questions. And I don't mean stupid questions. I'm talking about questions that work when they're around. Talk about things that matter to them. Ask them questions. Now, you can have a little short presentation. Tell them, hey, my name is Gary Lee Stanley. I work with United Real Estate Gallery, and I'm here to help you today kind of figure out what you're looking for. And I'm going to just simply ask you a couple of questions. I'll keep it real simple. And then that way we can kind of figure out if I'm a good fit for you, or at least put you on the right track, or at least put you in the right direction. Does that sound fair? And you're rolling your head, shaking your head, because you want to make sure, guys, you want to keep it simple. They want to own something. They need somebody they feel that's competent, not somebody who's arrogant, somebody who's rude, somebody who's a Mr. or Mrs. Know-it-all. They need somebody who's going to listen to them. And I mean literally listen, because see, customers will tell you by asking good questions what their interests are. Sometimes they'll hide things. They don't want you to know about their financing. They don't want you to know about things that make them feel uncomfortable. So you've got to win them over. You've got to win them over in the sense they've got to trust you. You got to keep it very simple. People trust people they trust, you know what I'm saying? And not everybody likes me. It could be the way I look, it could be the way I sound, it could be the way, whatever. Some people just like what they like, so you have to keep it very simple. But when you talk to customers, remember, they may or may not be able to purchase at that time, but you always want to remember they may know somebody who does want to purchase something. And if you keep it simple and just kind of build them up, make them feel good, ask them simple questions, ask them why they're interested in what you're selling, what might be something they're planning on doing. Are they moving, or are they fixing their homes up? Are they building somewhere? Are they buying something? What's going on? And you want to have this conversation in their life, what's going on, because that way you can determine if they can afford it. And you always want to get people, if possible, very simple information to find out what they pre-qualify for. Everybody has, diamonds in their mind, but sometimes, they might could afford silver or gold. So you have to treat people kindly, but you got to make sure people feel good. You keep it simple. And what I do with a lot of my customers, I've been helping people with purchases and real estate. I worked in the retail industry, furniture business, electronic business for years, and my simple thing was to find out what I could do to help them. I'll give them a basic preview of what my product is, but then I'll say, what's going on? Are you planning on buying this for someone else? Is this a family member? Are you considering something down the road? And how are you planning on paying for it? Were you going to use our money? And remember, guys, you got to keep it simple. Are you planning on putting it on? How are you planning on taking care of that? And when did you need it? Just remember, I'm giving you some good information, guys. So you need to go ahead and write this stuff down. Give me a thumbs up. My name is Gary Lee Stanley. I am your sales guy. I am your real estate sales guy. I am your AI guy too. So remember, guys, if you're trying to figure out how do I keep it simple for my customers so that way they'll purchase from me. Well, one of the cool things that I have is I try to stay educated. I'm green and growing. I'm not ripe and rotting. And I like to say that a lot for a couple of reasons. People really, sometimes they don't think that they need to learn new stuff. They think that they can just, wing it and stuff like that. But I've been in sales for over 40 years. So I know I can tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, and the warts and all. And you got to catch some education. You got to know your products. And people, like I said, sometimes they'll purchase from you. It could be that time. There'll be sometimes when you have to put people in the pipeline where you communicate with them, send them out information. Because see, I work in real estate, and I have some customers, they may or may not be ready to purchase. And so what I do is I just send them out little bits of information, trickle out some stuff that they may be interested in. And eventually what happens is by building relationships, remember, guys, keeping it simple, not rushing people, because sometimes when you rush people, they're making a decision and then it comes back and it's not a good decision. So you kind of want to, you want to get your commission. We work on this magic thing called commission, and what it does, it can be very lucrative. But if you're all about yourself, what happens is you become very greedy and miser and stuff like that. You do things that you probably shouldn't do. You say things that you shouldn't say. And there's a lot of people that are in jail because, well, they didn't always tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth. And I ain't gonna never say back when I was first starting out, I used to look at people like a dollar bill. And then I started learning how to be a professional salesperson. I met management that taught me the simple things about, learning, taking courses, taking classes, continuing education, all these things. You say, oh man, I don't want to do all that. Well, you can work in some retail positions, but if you want to really make money, you have to get simple. You have to go ahead and get licenses, certifications. You've got to be able to do these things. And if you're a business owner, or if you're somebody who's an entrepreneur minded, and if you're a salesperson, because most entrepreneurs, believe it or not, they are salespeople. They just may not know how to do it yet. You got to keep it simple. Like I said, do your research. I've got literally over 1,000 video on everything that's got to do with selling. And what you do is you just click and watch. And the reason why you want to watch is you can glean information from 40 years of experience from a salesperson who's seen the good, the bad, the ugly, and the warts and all, and the crap that sucks. And I try to keep it real simple, guys. I talk about one subject and we stay on track. Like I said, I've been in sales a long time, and I've had to learn how to have a conversation with people. Like I said, I have to learn how to deal with different personalities. And sometimes the way I look or the way I'm dressed, or who knows, sometimes I don't vibe with some people, or maybe the way I communicate, maybe the way I talk, maybe I'm a little too soft, maybe I'm a little too hard. But remember, guys, I keep trying. A winner is a person who through adversity keeps going and going and going. I've been in real estate, and I'll tell you, there's been some dry times where I've worked months and months and months doing open houses, doing marketing, and just not really making any money and having to work my side hustle. I'm also a security officer. I've been doing that off and on for a long, long time, and I love it because it gives me the capability to sit down and I can do their business, take care of their customer, and also I can work on myself, because you got to stay awake, man, when you're doing security. And I work during the daytime, so I need to stay vigilant, but I also need to pick up the phone, call people, do my continuing education, study, learn. And I've had that opportunity because I got involved with a great opportunity in doing security as a side hustle. 3 days a week and 4 days a week I do my real estate stuff and my other sales job, because in this market, in this real world, we got to keep it simple. We got to make some money, honey. And if you're like me and you're trying to figure figure it out. And if you're a young person, an old person, I don't know what the demographic of people, or if you're people watching this from out of this country or from around the world, America's one heck of a great place. But you got to work, and I mean, you got to work your ass off. And that means you got to get out there, honey, and knock on them doors, pick up those phones, call people, keep it simple. When you talk to people, just remember they're like your family, they're like your friends. Don't burn them. Treat them nice, man. They might have a referral. They might have somebody else they got in mind. And if you do people right on the front end and you make a little bit less on the front end, sometimes that's happened. Sometimes we want that big giant commission. Little did we know that the person that we helped with the little thing had somebody in mind, or maybe down the road they had somebody who was real simple, kept it real simple and treated them kindly, kept in touch, made sure they felt like they were $1 million, even if they spent 50 cents. You never know, guys. You got to get out there and be simple. And what I mean by simple, not simple-minded, simply smart. You know, you can do a lot of things to help yourself. You can catch an education. You can do your research. You can study. You start learning AI technology, which I highly recommend, guys, because this is going to help your sales business, your marketing, and I can help you with all that too, guys. So today we had a wonderful conversation, and our conversation today was selling and being simple, man. You got to make that money, honey. Why we want to make it more difficult? So get out there and ask for the order. And if you do, that means you sold something. So enjoy your day, guys. I'm right here in sunny Florida on my way to mom and dad's today. And I thought I'd share about being simple. Simply wanting to make money. Catch that education, man. Catch that knowledge. And make sure you ask for the order and feel like $1 million and help people who need help just like you. Don't be a miser. Love on people. When you start making money, honey, teach those other people down the road, your family, your friends, kids who might be in your life. Show them a new way of life. Keep it simple. Show them that, hey, you can have this type of a career, a salesperson. Okay, guys? Keep it simple. All right.